Welcome to segment 3 of Joe and the Fatman, the third and final segment of this latest installment. And as always, it's a celebrated box of mystery segment. But before we get into the box of mystery, Jay, it's been a while since you've been on the show. You've still been a key part of this operation, obviously being the producer, being responsible for getting this out and up on to YouTube. But on the air, you're back after a little time of absence. Welcome back, and there's been quite a bit that's happened since the last time you've been on the show. Obviously, Gavin McKenna's coming to Penn State. That's absolutely huge. In football, there's been a few recruiting commits, a few recruiting losses. Just what are your thoughts on really anything that's happened that you haven't gotten to talk about yet?
Well, I want to start off with Gavin McKenna because I've been hearing obviously great things. You guys were talking about it last week. And I mean, the odds on foreseeable conclusion is he's going to be the best player in collegiate hockey next year. He's probably going to be the number one overall pick. I know we obviously have a lot of time before that,
No, he's gonna
but
be. He's gonna be. There's guys you just know.
yeah, and everyone that I talk to, all my hockey buddies, really, if you have the chance to get him, you got to take him because he is just an absolute talent. It's kind of cool that he picks Penn State. I mean, how many times do you ever hear the top kids in the country going to Penn State? Not that their hockey program is anything to snuff at, but it's not Boston College or the University of Denver or any of the real big players, even some
They
of the
like, even the hockey
Ivy League.
projects don't go there either.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
No, well, it's a different world now because of the new rule that allows CHL players to come play in the
I
NCAA.
mean,
Yeah.
the fact that Penn State has McKenna, they have Shea Van Olm, who led the Western Hockey League with 49 goals. They have Jackson Smith, who's a five-star defensive prospect, who was, I think, picked 14th overall by the Columbus Blue Jackets. Mac Gadowski,
Yeah.
Guy's kid, who was a Hobie Baker finalist. Aiden Fink's back another year as a Hobie Baker finalist. It's just insane. Luke Misa, Kevin Riedler, this team,
Yeah.
they're, much like my column, it was, this sort of talent doesn't get to a team. I mean, when you think of the great NCAA collegiate hockey players like Cale Maker, you know, Neil Broughton from Minnesota, Paul Correa from Maine, like, great players, don't get me wrong, but Gavin McKenna right now just blows them out of the water, and it's no disrespect to those guys.
Now,
Absolutely.
do you think McKenna picks Penn State if they don't make the Frozen Four? If UConn wins that game in overtime, does any of this happen?
I still think it happens. I
I
think
think so.
Penn State was starting to brew a lot of things. It made it a lot easier.
But on the recruiting trail, so I really don't have a ton to really talk about with this. I
Were you
will say
disappointed
that
Joey O'Brien went to Notre Dame?
yeah, Joey O'Brien, I was going to mention, I that was kind of a foregone conclusion as we were kind of wrapping up through the summer month of June, but I just kind of thought that it stinks for Penn State to not be able to keep the local talent, but obviously there is still such so many great recruits in this class and so much talent that still is coming in for Penn State football. I really don't think there's going to be a major loss without O'Brien. I also think with the landscape of college football, you never know. He may end up circling the wagon and still ending up at Penn State. I mean, we saw it with Rucci and Julian Fleming. Obviously, hopefully O'Brien doesn't end up in the case where he has to transfer out, but you never know. So that's really my take on the recruiting end.
All right. Well, appreciate it, Jay. Glad to get your thoughts from your time away. But box of mystery time, Fat Man. What do you got?
All right. So this box of mystery tonight's a very simple one. Um, it's a theme off of media days, and I'm going to ask. You can't pick James Franklin, so he's not allowed to be picked in this. So you got to pick your three active. college football head coaches that are your favorites to cover or you've covered? And if you haven't covered any, who would you love to cover? Like, be like ask them questions, interview, cover. Yeah, Joe, you've been around. I know I've been. I got my obviously I have my three, but I'd
Let
love to.
me yeah, that's a good one. I guess Signetti would be up there for me just because, like, we can get annoyed with what he says and how Indiana hasn't, even after their great season last year, they haven't really earned anything yet. And he talks like he's a multi-time national champ, whatever. But at the same time, uh, coaches just are very guarded these days, and they have been for a long time. The days of Bobby Bowden and pre-senile Joe Paterno, those are long gone, and everybody's kind of buttoned down. And Signetti's not really like that. He says what's on his mind, and I like that about him. And I think I would like to cover him. Coach Prime, kind of the same thing. Nothing too much more needs to be said about Deion Sanders. I think if I covered Colorado, he would give you something to talk about. And then for the third one, oof. Um, give me. This might be subject to change, but give me Dino Babers from Syracuse. Because I feel that he is a budding star in the industry, and I don't think
You mean what's his name? Fran
oh,
Brown.
Fran Brown. Yeah, sorry, getting Syracuse coaches. Yep, Fran Brown. Everybody's gonna know his name soon. I don't think he'll be at Syracuse for too long. I think he's a rising star in the industry, and with he's shown signs of being entertaining, right? With when they beat Miami last year, the last week of the season kind of played spoiler to their ACC championship and college football playoff dreams. He said, Dabo Swinney, I got you in to the championship game, which he did. So I like those up and comers. Fran Brown's still a young guy. He's won as an assistant a lot at Georgia, and I feel that whether he turns Syracuse into a power or goes somewhere else, he's going to be a much bigger name in 5-10 years, and I will not be getting him confused with Dino Babers.
I'm gonna go with um yeah. Uh I'm gonna go with Dabo Sweeney because I think he's kind of a quote machine, if you will. He always has something good to say. Also, the whole not getting transfer portal players is kind of a interesting dynamic. Lincoln Riley from USC because
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, no, Lincoln
Kyle and I both
horrible.
have.
well, the reason being because I'd be curious to see how that goes, and kind of piling on Lincoln Riley,
There's no piling on. He's softer than Charmin.
which is why it'd be fun.
That's the way his team's.
No, Katie
No,
Bryan will be kicking you out of the USC.
really.
Yeah, you're not going to have fun. Lincoln is, yeah, he'll give you no answer. Like it's not even coach speak at times. I think Joe, were you on the Zoom that they were on last year? I know I was trying to point you in that right direction. Did
No,
you?
I got on, and he was fine. He was I asked him a question about his experience with Andy Kotelnicki since he coached against him when Kotelnicki was at Kansas and he was at OU, and he gave me a pretty decent answer. But yeah, Lincoln's the guy that's either just going to be a total jerk or just boring. And the day I got him, he
Interesting.
was boring. Other than my question, I don't really remember anything he had to say.
Hmm. I Yeah. All right. Well, my third choice, and basically because I want to know what kind of goes into him building a program. Casey Keeler at Temple did a great job at Delaware. Got Sam Houston State elevated from FCS to FBS. Done a pretty good job at did a pretty good job at Sam Houston State, and I'd be curious to see how he takes on the avalanche that is the Temple football program. So those would be my three. Although I may have to sub out Lincoln Riley, so I'll get back to you on that one.
It's still it's always interesting with Lincoln. You never know. For my three, I'm going to throw an honorable mention with Kirk Signetti. I'm hoping this year when I believe Indiana visits Happy Valley.
I do.
I'm hoping like I'm covering that, and I get to go into the visitors booth and try to poke him after a game.
Yeah, you can do that. Like after the game, you already have my full blessing to go to the very cramped Beaver Stadium
Oh, it's when
visitors.
I made the mistake after the Ohio State game
Yep.
last year to go in there with the Ohio State team, and then you also have the national media folks slamming in there. I'll have to send you guys the pics and videos of that adventure. But no, Kirk Signetti is my honorable mention. I mean, after the Big Ten media days, remember whenever like he's about to go on stage and the SID's literally running him up with like a Starbucks, and then he comes up on stage and he's just like walking there, like just doesn't even care. That that in itself is just worth it. But he's my honorable mention. My number three guy, and look, I will run to and from um hell in a gasoline suit to cover this guy because when he gets in that rare mood, he's going to be great. And um, you mentioned it, Jay. It's Dabo Sweeney. When I covered the Pitt
Yeah.
Clemson game last year, I asked Dabo a question. He went on like this 5 minute rant. I have the video. I'll have to send it to you. He's literally yelling at me in a small pit uh, visitors media room, and it's absolutely fantastic. And he'll just talk, and he'll talk and talk and talk some more. He's
Yeah.
like the modern day Bobby Bowden. Number two, um, this is where I'm jealous of our West Virginia Sports Now colleague Mike Ostie, Rich Rodriguez. Any, I don't know if you've ever watched a bunch of Rich Rodriguez press conferences.
I've
It's
watched one
never,
of his press
it,
conferences. You
it's
could probably guess
never,
which one.
it's never dull. And with him being back home and comfortable, he's gonna make it fun. And I think he just gets it. Like for him, I think he's just playing with house money, and I think Ostie's gonna have a great time. And I would cover Rich Rod in a nanosecond. Number one for me, um, and Joe, you got to see me trigger him at the Peach Bowl, but Lane Kiffin,
Huh. That- That's a
the
good one.
Lane the the Lane Kiffin's one of those guys. Like I'd love to just be on the beat. Like the one of the positives that was from that Peach Bowl experience covering that was really getting to know a lot of the Ole Miss media from I think it's called the Clarion Ledger. Um, those guys just say, you got to combat and battle with Lane, and it's like a psychological game with them. And to me, I think that would be fun. The fact that Lane is that kind of coach and like that, I think it's fun. I think James is, depending on his mood, he's either very talkative, like he'll engage, and then there's sometimes you can't get nothing out of him.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little bummed out about not going to media days because he's always in a good mood during the summer. I mean, there's really nothing to be too upset about.
Yeah.
But Lane Kiffin's my number one. It's not even close. Like if Ole Miss is good, like I could only imagine, like the press conference I wish I could have been at for Lane Kiffin was after the Georgia game last year, after the Ole Miss fans stormed the field prior to the game ending, and the ESPN cameras like panned to him, and you could hear the four-letter vernacular like reading lips. I would have loved to poke him post game with that.
You remember when he pushed one of his players? This was at Tennessee, but he pushed one of his players on accident.
Oh yeah, dude. Did you guys listen to him on Feinbaum during SEC media days?
I didn't. I got to
Oh
listen
my
to him.
god, you have to listen to it. He was joking about his time as being the Raiders coach and kicking 76-yard field goals with Sebastian Janikowski.
No,
So
that was fantastic. Then he
you
got fired.
Yeah.
you gotta listen to it. But yeah, he's my number one by far. Um, that's my box of mystery, Joe.
Yeah. What about all time?
Ooh. Um, rest in peace, Lee Elia. If you remember the Lee Elia
Yeah.
rant. we're a
Yep.
family program, so we can't get into that.
He was the third base coach on the 1980 Phillies.
I would, you know, Bobby Cox would be another one, and Earl Weaver. From
Yeah, yeah, Earl Weaver. Earl Weaver's good.
Bill Parcells is probably my ultimate.
Larry Boa would be another good one, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bill Parcells was probably my ultimate in all of pro sports. Um,
Joe
I'm just
Girardi?
no,
No?
no, he's too bland for me.
You're probably talking Giants Bill Parcells and not Cowboys Bill Parcells.
Oh
I don't think Cowboys Parcells would have been too great.
yeah,
No.
Parcells, Patriots, Jets, or Giants. I can do Cowboys. He was done. Um, from a hockey standpoint,
Torts.
Torts is
Oh
a
yeah.
good one. I probably would love to have talked to Badger Bob Johnson. Um, and I would probably go after, guys like Scotty Bowman and Al Arbor and whatnot. NBA, so many good coaches. Pat Riley's my ultimate.
Okay.
Yeah, not Phil Jackson though.
I would say Jim Calhoun from UConn. He was
Jim
pretty good.
Boeheim, the two
Oh,
Jims.
yeah, well,
Oh,
have fun
John
with
Cheney.
Boeheim. Boeheim would have been an interesting one for sure.
John Cheney. The,
Yeah, the
Yeah, John Chaney.
the general.
Bob
Oh
Knight.
my god. You get something thrown at you if you're talking to the general. Jesus. Oh my god. Rick Pitino, I guess, still current, but
Oh yeah, he's always a good one. Um, Larry Brown in the NBA would be
yeah,
fantastic. Um,
I think Jim Leland would have been really good.
Jim Leland's
Jim
class.
Leland's a good
He
one.
always told you where he stood. So I'd like I'd like Jimmy Leland. Tony La Russa was always
Huh.
good. Um,
Sort of.
Lasor don't
Yeah.
ask him about Kirk Bavacqua.
Or Dave Kingman hitting 3 home runs.
Yep. He's good. Um, Sparky Anderson,
Yeah, he looked like he was 60 years old when he was like,
40.
big even less than that. Same
Yeah.
thing with Danny Murtaugh, the Irishman.
Oh yeah. Those guys, Billy Martin,
Hmm.
that's always going to be fun.
What
No, I
about
mean,
the Royals manager, whose name is escaping me? The one that threw the phone
Oh,
at
Hal McRae.
yeah, I'm cry.
Yeah, like some of the blowups are good, but like I don't know, like from a Pirates perspective, I don't think I'd want to cover Lloyd McClendon.
no. Well, I've heard like just from forgetting like yelling and stuff, like Gene Cady from Purdue was absolutely fantastic.
Hmm.
I've heard the same thing about him. Like,
I love Matt Painter from Purdue. I've had limited experience with Matt Painter, but he
Jay
was
Wright would be another one I'd love to have covered
Jay Wright would have been good.
because
Yeah,
he has that Pat Riley to him, and he always just seems like he'll just talk.
yeah, all good
You think
ones.
he comes back to coaching?
No, I think he's done. I don't think he wants to deal with what where college hoops is. And then if he wasn't going to go to the Nova Knicks, he ain't going to do the NBA.
Yeah,
Yeah, Nick shouldn't have fired Tibbs. By the way, I
That's,
wouldn't have
that's,
done.
let's not talk about it because I don't think we want the podcast to go another 3 hours of me with a profanity laced tirade on that situation. And then I'm in France. It's 10 o'clock at night. I'm about to jump in a hot tub at the Airbnb that I'm at, and I get the notification on my phone because remember, it's 6 hours
ahead.
ahead over
Yeah,
there. Mike Brown is the head coach of the Knicks, and I'm just sitting there. And I think the very first things out of my mouth was whiskey tango foxtrot, and I can promise you I wasn't saying that.
Alright, well, that's gonna do it for this latest episode of Joe and the Fat Man. For Kyle Fatman Golick, Jay Hallahan, this is Joe Smeltzer signing off. Thank you for listening, and we will be back.
Good night, Canada.